anyone in his own area who upset him, he'd beat the crap out of them. In the Workers' Club or wherever. He was a tough man, a very tough man.
Yeah. He was that intimidating, was he?
Hey?
Roy Wright was that very intimidating?
He's very intimidating.
Now, Roy Wright, can you describe him to me?
A tough boy. I mean, I'm talking really, really scary.
$1,200 for 2 hours work. You know, there's $25 there, probably 15 there. Sorry to break your heart, mate, but this is the life.
What are you going to do with it all, Roy? The money, mate.
I'm going to take it to the grave with me, mate. Oops, I'm putting you up back in back in the wagon.
You're not going to share it out?
No, mate, no.
I thought you might give Kay a little bit.
Give nobody nothing.
Roy Crabber Wright.
Roy
Crabber Wright. You're not
Yeah, I
like...
need another string.
Well, Dave's a wildlife ranger, and probably the best that I've ever known, like, you know. And a lot of times he never used to wear shoes, and he'd come in the shop and things like that. But he was fair dinkum. Like, he was the only one that could catch Roy Wright, the poacher Roy Wright. I mean, Roy was the same, brought up in the bush, he knew the bush, you know. He just used to laugh at the other rangers. He said they all knock off at 5 o'clock and go home. I just go fishing then, you know. But Dave tracked him down.
Thinking of the cat and mouse that occurred between Roy Wright, the criminal, and Dave Lindner, the wildlife officer or the conservation officer, as the law appoints. Real cat and mouse chasing through the bush, helicopters, boats being dragged. Thinking of it in modern day terms, it was absolutely terrifying, because these were happening in remote locations. This is before cell phones, this is before sat phones. Going out and catching or trying to catch a hardened criminal, often by yourself, is an incredibly scary thing to think of, and you can't put it in modern day context.
There we are, boys. Crab's ready to go into the pot. Eat your heart out, Simsy and the boys down south.
A terrible life, hey?
Terrible life.
VB.
VB, West End Draft, you name it, we've got it. You missed, mate. And the old sun's starting to set over the Wirian River, mate. We're going to have entree before tea.
You come to light to the Territory authorities through the poaching mainly?
Yeah. So after about 3 months, I stole a f***ing boat off the wharf, stole some nets from Shah's place, and I put them on top of an old falcon like that, and I done my first trip poaching.
Where was your first poaching endeavour?
Mary River at the
On the Mary River?
Crobbery camp.
Quabbery.
Yeah.
When he was inside in Fannie Bay Gaol before Cyclone Tracy, he was at the peak of his hostility to me, not only because of the headaches I caused him when he was trying to poach, but because of this taxation got him. They got him, you know, and anyway, I said to Dale Egan, I said, I warn you, when he sees me here, he's going to go off his head. And Dale and his sidekick said, not here, we're in charge here. So they dragged Righty out.
He come in there with an armful of papers, and I'm on the superintendent sitting there. The superintendent's an ex-ranger too, and I knew him from the bush, and he's saying to Lindy, oh, you got no worries with this. He's a prisoner, he's tame. Anyway, when Lindner gave me the papers, I had a look at them. I just tore them all up and threw them in his fucking face.
So I hit him on the shoulder with the summons, and gave it to him. He ripped it up, threw it at me and went back to his cell. I turned around and Dale and his mate were shaking in their boots.
He shit himself. And I was fucking fuming too. And the superintendent shit himself too, because I used to give them big heaps of shit, you know, before he was a superintendent of the jail.
Would you say, so he was an intimidating guy, right?
Yeah, very.
He's been imprisoned in various jails around Australia, including notorious Fremantle prison in Perth, as he described to me. Was he a nasty person?
I didn't find him nasty at all. You know, intimidating, didn't take any bull, but no, I never found him nasty.
Yeah.
I think there was a real thing between him and Dave Lindner, and Dave had sort of set out to get him. And if I remember rightly, I think Roy said he was the only man he's ever really been afraid of, or that could catch him. The others would never catch him.
Yeah.
So from 66 till 79, I was a ranger. And I had 5 years at Coburg with no law enforcement work or anything like that. And then I come back into the rough and tumble of Darwin. The moment I started trying to protect crocodiles, I ran into these fishermen who were doing inland waters which were closed to netting. My justification for having zero tolerance for inland water netting was fully exhibited by Righty catching old Charlie in a net live.
Charlie the crocodile was a very, very large adult male saltwater crocodile. There wasn't many crocs around back then. There probably was, you know, maybe a population of 3,000 to 5,000 total. And he was one of the giants. You know, the head on that crocodile is just ginormous. So he was truly a healthy male that should have been, you know, spreading his genetics, and his life got cut short. Now, we can only assume his age, but you're probably looking at least 60, but probably closer to 80 years old or somewhere in between there. He was in his apex prime of his life. The photos that you see is a big, barrel-chested, masculine bull crocodile. And for him to get caught in a net and then have his life taken is absolutely tragic. And we're very lucky that we didn't have more of that. And if we didn't have ruthless rangers like Dave Lindner, that would have gone on everywhere. You know, while that croc couldn't be saved, I do think lots of others got saved through the prosecution of Roy Wright, because it was not about saving that croc, it was about preventing other big bull crocs from being needlessly killed.
How'd that all unfold?
Yeah, what happened, we run the net across the billabong, and we're laying back and we could hear fish splash in the net, so it was time to clean it, you know. But it wasn't fish at all, it was just splashing in the net. So when I saw it was a croc, we went over to the side, undone the rope and pulled the net up the bank. And I could, me, it's a big croc. I go and hit it between the eyes with an axe. He went down and smacked it across the fucking nose, and the fucking thing reared up again. And the next one, he got it between the eyes, as you saw, and tied it up by a bit of rope around its nose so it was submerged. And the next day, I told my missus and kids, we'll go out and skin this crocodile. So I took my missus and kids out and got photographs with the kids and all that sort of shit alongside the croc, and we skun it.
They pulled him ashore, and several blokes had to go at him with axe and kill him, and they skun him.
It was really clear from looking at the skull that there was two very distinct axe blows to its head, which would have taken an incredible amount of force because the skull was thicker than a Bessabridge. One of the other interesting things was many years before, they actually removed a bullet slug from the skull, but that wasn't the cause of death. That was that croc was living with a bullet in its head.
I give him the skin, $200, and then it hit the headlines, $500 reward.
The skull body was found by the owner of the station, Wildman River Station. They called us, we went out. Dwayne Vachon, a real big shot. And, he was in some tourist promotion authority in Darwin. He got them to post a substantial reward for information leading to the apprehension of the people who killed old Charlie and Scunny.
It was too heavy to push back in the river as a Toyota job. If you could have pushed it back in the river with a gut split open, and you couldn't move it. There was a fucking, you even had to roll it on its side with a Toyota. You know what I mean? You skin one side and fold the skin back over, roll on the other side.
How did the authorities get onto you?
They seen where they dug up the paddock, brand new diggings. They dug out there, and there was the fucking the head and the paws. The fucking paws were fucking monsters, you know. Yeah.
So this is your accomplice, or the other fella, he buried the skull, right?
Buried the skull and the paws, yeah.
And it was recovered from there.
It was buried in a block at Berrimah. And we got information where the skin, and so they buried the skin, they did all these sort of things, and we had inside information. So we got the photos out, hidden in the bottom of a frying pan, electric frying pan or something, and dug the skull up.
Yeah, they give me up. Yeah, they give me up.
So were you convicted in relation to that croc killing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Got, I think I got 6 months jail or 9 months jail or something, yeah.
What was your opinion of it when you saw it? You've seen it before, obviously, and then you dropped the measuring tape on it. Tell me about that.
To lay hands on that skull was really eerie because when holding it, just the sheer weight of it was massive. Like, I think it was over 20 kilos. And it's also really prehistoric to think that was in the river.
Describe Dave Lindner.
I didn't have no run-ins with him then. He come in later in the poaching, yeah. He come in the 70s. By that time I was 74, 75, I moved to Borrolilla. But he put a lot of pressure on us.
So what was Dave doing to you that was a problem?
Hounding us, but he was putting a lot of pressure on us. He put that much pressure on me at the end that I had to move to Borrolilla.
So would you say he was an honest ranger?
Hey?
Was he an honest ranger?
Yeah.
So he was doing the right thing.
He was a crocodile lover. He was silly. He should have joined me. He would have had a fucking few quid. But he done his job and I was trying to do mine, but we was on opposite sides.
What you say? That's going to fall on in a minute.
The double corners were a must, Dennis, because the crabs are that powerful. They smash the single wire out. You got to put double corners.
Going well. Going well. I'm going to get one cod. All right.
Come back a bit. One, 3, right. Eight. I went out to Manangura. I was full of shit. Not a white fella, but old Leonard Anderson. He took me down, showed me where I can camp and everything. About 3 months later, the coppers turned up, CIB. Not uniform, CIB. And they had Leonard with him. We want this off your property right now. Oh, well, Leonard said, until he treads on my toes, he can stay where he is. They looked at him and threw him in the back of the fucking wagon, locked him up, took him in the lock him up for one night, thinking the next morning he'd say, yeah, I'll get him off my property. But he was saying the next morning he can stay where he is until he treads on my toes. A year later, I was burning snakes out. King Browns, a lot of King Browns there then. And I'm burning on the fire, got away and burned his whole paddock. He said, hey boy, I said, don't tread on my toes. But we got on, I ended up taking him, when he died, I took him over to Van Lon Island, and I was a very, very sad person. Yeah. He's the one that changed my whole life.
So, yeah, he had an influence on you to prevent what made you...
And not only that, I was making good money, so there was no reason to steal. It was barra fishing when we first got there, barra fishing and crabbing. But I had to be in Darwin court for poaching, and I lost the barra licence then. But I had the crabs, you see, and I done extremely well at the crabs. There's a research fisheries tag in there. They do a fair bit of research on them. I send that back and get $10. I get $10 for the crab and $10 for the tag, so good crab that one.
Yeah, eh? Not a bad bloody
How much you got
thing.
me covered?
What's in there?
No, that one was there. This is a bonus.
Bloody crabs jumping in the boat, mate.
Where'd he come from?
$10 notes running around
Yeah.
So when that gentleman passed away, you took him to Van Lon Island.
Van Lon Island, the boat, and I was very, very, even now, I'm a little bit fucking, not real, don't feel good now even.
Yeah. And why was he a special person to you?
Well, he's the one that gave me a chance in life. He's the one that talked to me. Hey, you're here. Keep away from the shit up there. You know what I mean? He was number one. He's the one that straightened me right up. Yeah.
Right.
I think the last conviction I had was 74 or something. When I met him, that's the last conviction.
What do you remember? What advice he would give you?
Hey?
What sort of advice was he giving you? Because you're obviously off the rails. What would he tell you? What did he do to stop you?
Well, for a start, he gave us a shed to live in down the bottom camp, and he'd come and talk. What you doing is fucking shit, boy.
Guys like Dave Lindner and Roy Wright is that they're no nonsense. There's no fluff, there's no political correctness. What you see is what you get. And if you don't like it, they don't care.
But now it's
Oh, good as gold. I like him.
Why?
I don't know. He's old and he's old. And we talk about old times.
Yeah. What point did you become friends with him?
Oh, but actually my brother-in-law Alan, he liked Lindner from the day one. They got on really well. And but because of him, he took me out there, and that's how I sort of slowly become friends with him until now we're right.
Yep.
Then he sent me $50. He heard I was going bad up here. Sent me $50.
That's the first barra he ever caught on Cales Crossing, he told me.
Oh, yeah.
Bang, hit the bottom of the boat, lifted the boat up, put a big ding in the bottom of it. Shane seen the head and Paul seen the tail.
had a reputation for attacking boats with the engine going.